Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Sturtzbaugh of Sturtzbach Advisors, Monroe, Georgia. I am an insurance agent and formerly chaplain Jonathan Sturtzbaugh, U.S. Army, and also served in the Air Force. I did 2 combat tours, both with the 10th Mountain Division active duty, and I know Ryan Hunt, who organized this event. I was his chaplain. Can't wait to share some things with you, and I'd like to share some things with you about the insurance industry. I want you to consider the insurance industry. Boy, there are so many great opportunities. Insurance affects everything in our world, and I want you to consider why insurance. So I currently teach at a Bible college in Alaska, Alaska Bible Institute, and look forward to spending the next few minutes with you. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. When I was a minister, I left the Army and went to a church, and my last church, I was making $30,000 a year, no benefits. I had 2 kids in Christian private school, I was married, and this is what I was supposed to survive on. Well, at that point, the church decided they were going to stop paying me, and then my wife's corporate career took a nosedive, and she found herself to have a reduction in force by her company, and we were left struggling. So I wanted to help people, but I didn't want to starve. And working with God did not come with dental. I don't want to be blasphemous, but you know, we got to a point where we were desperate and we never wanted to be in this place again. So Mandy and I decided that we were going to build a life that we never needed a vacation from. Imagine that as a goal. And we were planning and praying, and I had just finished a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And Robert compares advice between 2 dads, his rich dad and his poor dad. And Robert teaches that you need cash flow. Cash flow is a game changer. Cash flow allows you to buy assets, and then assets allow you to have greater financial abilities in the future. So I never wanted to be in this place again. My current story is that Mandy and I own Sturtzbach Advisors in Monroe, Georgia. We work from home, and I often tease people that I work in my underwear most days. That's not entirely true, but it sure sounds fun, and I always wanted to be like Donald Duck. So we have a business that earns $500,000 a year. The passive cash flow we have achieved. We wanted self-reliance, and of course we wanted tax shields, not just to make money, but keep the government from taking a lot of that money. Our business was appraised last month at $1.5 million. So we are excited at all of the blessings of God. So my goal today is not to sell you anything. My goal today is not to recruit you. My goal is not to shove Jesus or religion on you, although I will refer to my personal faith. My goal is what you and I fought for, and that is freedom. Think Braveheart, right? At the end of the movie, freedom! And so today I'm not selling you anything. I'd like to give you an idea, and I would like to make you better. All right, so let's go. My secret to success. What do I think that is? Well, there's a quote by Jesus. The disciples had come to him in the Bible and said, man, who's going to be greatest in the kingdom? Which of us are going to be the best? Which one of us have done the most? And Jesus gave a formula for success. And Jesus said, he that would be greatest among you must first be servant to all. So look, let's boil it down very simply. You want to be great, serve a lot of people. You want to make a lot of money, serve a lot of people. If you want to see God's success in your life, obsess about other people's problems, and they will obsess about how to write you checks and put money into your bank account. Make other people the priority. Give something away. Let's fix the problems in the world. If we fix the problems in the world is going to come to us for answers, and many of those answers are money. Insurance is one such problem. Why did I choose insurance as a career? Of course, biggest, first and foremost, were the renewals. I wanted cash flow. I wanted renewable income. We have to have insurance. Do you know that if you're on Medicare and you don't keep your creditable coverage, that you will be fined? Insurance has a proven track record. When AIG was going under, what kept that company afloat? I know the government bailed them out, but the only profit-making success they had was their life insurance division. It's stable. I've never heard of a life insurance company going bankrupt. I can sell it, I can invest it, I can borrow from it, shield it, roll it over. And of course, because it's insurance, I can have tax shields. Now look, I want to draw a very simple analogy. What does a farmer and a dairy farmer, or let's back up. What does a cattle rancher and a dairy farmer have in common? Cows, as in moo. See, both of them have the same asset, but I contend it's better to be a dairy farmer than a cattle rancher. You see, a cattle rancher has to slaughter the asset. We call this capital gains. They have to kill and chip away at their asset to make a profit. Whereas a dairy farmer milks the asset and then slaughters it and gets a capital gain. So the goal of all business is to take the same money and constantly be redeploying and reinvesting that money into other things. Make your dollar earn $2, $3, $4, $5. So be a dairy farmer, not a cattle farmer. What are the possibilities in insurance? So I have my health and life license, and my favorite product is Medicare. Now there's plenty of products that you can sell, and my favorite product is Medicare with the senior and disabled market. In 2026, next year, for every person that you buy, sell, or retain is $347 renewal for the year. So let's do some math. 100 clients times $347 is $34,700 of ongoing renewable income if you had 100 clients. Well, what if you had 250 clients? You're going to have just shy of $87,000 of ongoing passive cash flow renewable income. Well, what if you had 1,000 clients? You got it. $347,000. Look, not everybody is going to have 1,000 clients, but the goal is that everyone needs some form of life insurance, and maybe you don't want to sell health insurance. Maybe you don't want to sell Medicare or Obamacare. Well, there's other kinds of insurance. There's life insurance. There's property and casualty insurance, your house and your car. There's dental, vision, and hearing insurance, gap insurance, hospital indemnity insurance. There's cancer riders, long-term care, short-term care. There's even annuities and mortgage protection. Good night. You can serve almost anything in any market. Insurance affects all of us. I'm told that even Marilyn Monroe's legs and Babe Ruth's arms were insured. Goodness gracious, the possibilities are endless. So let's say you're really good at selling and you want to bring on more people and you want to serve a greater audience. Let's say that you had 50 people working for you and each of them had 100 clients. You're supervising them, and these agents all get you a $3 override for each policy that all of them have. That is $15,000 a month of passive ongoing income. Well, maybe you don't want 50 clients. Maybe you are licensed only agents. Maybe you want only 10 licensed only agents, and each of them were to have 100 clients each. That's $3,000 a month of passive income and cash flow if there's a $3 override, which is very low per policy. Now, that scares some of you. My first year, I sold about 60 policies in the first 6 or 7 months. Didn't know what I was doing, I had very little technology, and I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, right? I'm not the brightest guy, not the sharpest, but I'm good with people. I don't give up, and I'm very regimented and disciplined. So I was able to get 60 clients in my first 6 or 7 months. Now, some of you are probably worried about the local political situation that's been going on in this country, right? The political pendulum swifts this way, then it shifts back. I'm not going to get into politics tonight, but I do want to make a political statement or two, not to upset you, but to give you hope. So let's shoot straight here. Republicans love them some Medicare Advantage plans. Democrats love the Affordable Care Act, which is also called Obamacare or the health marketplace. You see, what's happening is each political party is appealing to their constituents. Older people tend to vote more conservative. Younger people tend to vote more liberal. Older people will care about more of individual liberties, whereas younger people are more federal and state consumed. So the question, and why am I bringing this up, is whether you like Uncle Don, old Trump, or you like Uncle Joe Biden, it doesn't matter, because whoever is in office, if you sell both products, you're always going to have a market. See, there's two sides to every coin. And just because the other side of the aisle is in doesn't mean there isn't anything to sell and that you cannot help people. So what's the catch? What are you selling? I'm not selling anything. You are the catch. Just like I told my wife when I proposed to her, you're the catch. I gave her a great big old diamond and she decided to marry me. I hope she doesn't regret that. Well, so last week my wife and I were last week I was in Alaska fishing, and I was fly fishing for salmon. I love salmon, great health benefits, great food, and it's a sustainable, renewable source. So I'm fly fishing for salmon, and we're doing something called flossing, where you throw the line upriver, it floats downriver, and salmon swim with their mouth open, and you pull the hook across their mouth, and it hooks them in the mouth. That is called flossing. I fished for 7 days and did not catch one stupid salmon. Why? Well, what I didn't realize is the season had just opened for people that live in Alaska, and they're sitting at the mouth of the river with these big, huge dip nets. While salmon are swimming into their nets, there were very few salmon left for me to catch fly fishing. And see, when in insurance, you can go out and catch one here, you can catch one there, one here, one there, or you can drop a net in a place where there are a lot of fish and you can pull in a bunch of fish at one time. My goal for you, obviously, is to fish with a net. Maybe you're just a mom and you've got small babies and you just want a part-time job, or you're nearing retirement and you don't want to work a lot. No problem. You can catch one here and one there and still make a great living. My goal, though, is for you to be profitable, to be successful. You get what you put into insurance. Everything, and I mean everything, rises and falls on you. When we were in the military, all we did was train some more, and train some more. You see, all insurance, every part of insurance is tri-level marketing. There's always someone above you. There's always someone below you. Somebody's getting an override. Somebody isn't. So the goal is for everybody in that process to earn their keep, provide a great service, and make money. Train. The more trained you are in insurance, the more money you're going to make. You are the asset. The greatest investment that you will ever make is into yourself and your knowledge. I love Myron Golden. Myron Golden is a motivational speaker, and like me, he used to be a minister. He is an African-American gentleman out of Tampa, Florida. Black belt in karate, polio, just a remarkable dude. But Myron Golden says this: you become a skillionaire before you become a millionaire. And what he means by that is, it's got to be here. You've got to see it. You've got to have it in your head. You've got to have a vision. You have to be trained for it. You have to adapt your life and your disciplines to become a millionaire. And you will become one here before you become one in your pocketbook. You've got to develop millionaire skills to be profitable and successful. So my wife Mandy and I are going to do something crazy, at least what everybody says, and we are not negative going to send our kids to college. A lot of people are freaking out. Why would you do that? What is wrong with you? Oh my goodness. Because Mandy and I value skills so much over theoretical knowledge and book learning. We value what can our son and what can our daughter do with their hands that can make money. What skills do they have when their friends go to college and come out with all kinds of debt? Our kids are going to be earning what these other kids own in debt. Isn't that a better deal? Sure seems so to me. And insurance could make that possible. So you've heard it said, it takes money to make money. I don't quite believe that, but what I like to do in my business is I like to buy assets and invest in assets that I can borrow against. Now, why do I want to borrow money? I mean, Jonathan, you're a minister, right? Doesn't Proverbs say the borrower is slave to the lender? Yes, I don't want you to borrow money from a bank, but I do want you to tap the equity in resources that you might have. One of those resources would be your primary residence, your home. Do you realize that the equity in your house is an asset that you can often borrow against? Why would you leave the equity in the studs of your house? You see, a paid off house is zero. Use the equity in your home in a first or a second lien position to borrow against to help you get greater leverage in your business. Another way is a solo 401k. Now, a solo 401k is for investors and entrepreneurs. You must be self-employed, but the reason I utilize a solo 401k is that I can borrow against it. What a great way to create capital to help fund your businesses. Maybe you want to spend that on marketing. Maybe you want to spend that on something else. Here's another way. This is probably my favorite way, is whole life dividend paying mutual fund life insurance. You know, OJ was convicted in civil court. I know they let him out of criminal court because of evidence, but he was convicted in civil court of committing that crime, and he was supposed to pay all this money, and when they went and examined his financials, they found out everything that he owned was in life insurance. Life insurance is immune to taxes and lawsuit. So isn't it better, don't you think, to borrow against something like life insurance? And if you were to die, there's plenty of collateral and death benefit that will be paid. They'll pay off that loan, and your family is still cared for, but you get to harness the benefits of that during your life. Boy, these are great products. Many of these companies have been around since the Civil War, or as we say in the South, the war between the states. You could section off a piece of your company. Say Mandy and I didn't like life insurance and we wanted to sell that piece of the company, and we could finance something else with that sale. Another way that we could do this is to do a like as trade. You see, I could trade or barter a piece of real estate for an insurance book of business and not pay taxes, because both of those assets are tax-paying assets that the government is going to charge us taxes on, so we won't have to actually sell them and pay taxes twice. Just some considerations. So here's the bottom line. If you don't build your dream, someone else is going to pay you to build theirs. Don't build somebody else's dream at the expense of your own. Some of you right now are on your phones or on your iPads or computers, and you're Googling average income for a life insurance agent. And if you do, I'll just tell you it's $44,000 a year. Oh, but John, I thought there was lots of money in this. There is, but don't be average. If you want to make it big in this industry, you need to have skills that the top 5% of insurance agents and salespeople have. You're going to have to train. Just because this is lucrative doesn't mean that it's easy. So if you don't build your dream, you're going to end up working for someone else and building their dream. Why not consider insurance? It's not about the money, it's about you. Don't you want freedom? Where do I start? Well, the best place to start is to find an ethical, person or an ethical company. Sit under their tutelage, sit under their guidance, sit under their training, and mimic what they do. Learn all that you can from somebody. As a capitalist, I want my boss to make money. When my boss makes money and they do something for me, I want them to make money, of course. I want people that work to be adequately paid as well. Go into every arrangement, go into every meeting with the intent of both of you making money. All insurance is tri-level marketing, so don't be afraid that you have uplines, downlines, FMOs, IMOs, and even HMOs. Just kidding. For those of you that understand insurance, that's a joke. Look, insurance has made more millionaires than any other asset class and sector of society that I know. Consider it. Consider it whether you want to get a side hustle or you want to build something really, really big and leave it to the next generation. Consider insurance. Insure yourself against a big hit, against a calamity, and I hope this was helpful. My name is Jonathan Sturtzbaugh. I'm signing off. I wish you a great afternoon. God bless you.